But then the knocking returned and it was louder this time. It followed a pattern. Knock, 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 knock.
We both had an episode of sleep paralysis, perhaps. Maybe there was some negative energy in our room due to which this happened.
Ended up finding an article online from the Daily Pioneer newspaper from the summer of 2017, which is about a drowning in Pachmari.
But then, without warning, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night air, sending chills down our spines.
Bloody Mary, I killed your son. Bloody Mary, I killed your son. Bloody Mary, I killed your son.
Hi everyone, welcome to Chai Chithi, the segment where we tell some of the scariest, most terrifying, most nightmarish stories sent in to us by all of you, our lovely listeners. I'm your host Aishwarya.
And I'm Aryaan.
And in this episode, we would request you guys to stick till the end. Halfway through this episode, we're going to play a game, the loser of which is about to conjure up Bloody Mary.
Yeah, so I'll try my best to win that game sent in to us by my muse. More about them in the middle of the episode. But what kind of stories do you have for us today, Aishwarya?
Let's start with story number 1. The first story begins like this. Hey Aryaan and Aishwarya, I am S. I've been listening to your podcast from the very first episode you've released, and I can tell you I have been obsessed with it ever since. One of the real ones. So the story which I'm going to tell you about happened back in 2017. In the summer of 2017, we, my friends and I, were waiting for our summer camp to start impatiently as we were excited to go to a place called Pachmari, a hill station situated in Madhya Pradesh. But at the last moment, my plan to go to the camp got cancelled due to some family emergency. One of my friends, let's call him A, was also hesitant to go there after, but eventually went as it was the first time we were all going there. In between the days, my birthday came, and as tradition, all of my friends called except for M and my other friend T. It was a very weird day. I remember I was not feeling well, so my mother suggested I take a nap. But around 3 in the afternoon, I got up abruptly with a very intense headache. I was very distressed and was feeling that I lost something, but I couldn't explain what. At around 11 in the night, my friends from camp called me to wish me a happy birthday and then told me about their day in the camp and the places they explored. At last, I remember very clearly I talked to M and he was apologizing profusely for not wishing me earlier and said that he'd make up to me for his mistake once he returns. I assured him that this is alright, he doesn't have to do anything except to pass the phone to T, as T had also not talked to me. But he hung up on me before saying anything else. I was taken aback but didn't think much and went to sleep. Next day, I woke up to my mother asking me repeatedly that, "Are you sure you talked to M?" And after answering her a zillionth time, I asked her why she was acting so strange and asking me the same question again and again. To which she handed me that day's newspaper. The headline of which was about the drowning incident that took place yesterday in Pachmari at around 3 in the afternoon, which claimed the life of a boy. God. And that boy was M. The boy who was trying to save him was my friend T. My other friends were oblivious to the accident and only T knew that M was no more. That revelation shook me to my core because if M was dead, who was I talking to at night and how was that even possible? To this day, I can't make sense of it, but it is what it is. Sorry for the long story. I hope you'll read it. Your Desi fan, S. Aryaan, now that is a terrifying story. I'm sure you all agree. The person who picked this story for us, someone from our team, ended up finding an article online from the Daily Pioneer newspaper from the summer of 2017, which is about a drowning in Pachmari.
16-year-old dies after drowned in Apsara Vihar waterfall.
This happened, this article at least is published on Monday 22nd May 2017, and the title of the article reads, 16-year-old dies after drowning in Apsara Vihar waterfall. Last rites of a class 10 student of Kendriya Vidyalaya who died in Pachmari during Scouts and Guide camp, also someone during camp, were performed in the city on Sunday. Deceased drowned at Apsara Vihar waterfall on Saturday. It was a student of class 10. It mentions Aditya Parihar, 16 years old, who died when he went inside the waterfall. He was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was eventually declared dead.
This our team found this. Where,
Correct.
I'm not 100%. Maybe it could be another event, but it appears more than likely that this is what the
There's too
Chai
many
Chithi
coincidences.
was
Someone
about.
at camp. It's the summer of 2017. It's someone in that age range that our author mentioned, and it's a drowning in that same
Wow.
area.
I think I've become more open to. I think the notion of afterlife after the T2 Singh episode and meeting T2 himself, and so if there is some veracity to this story, I'm more open to it than I would have been before the T2 episode.
I feel like that episode did that to a lot of us, and I'm sure to a lot of
to a lot of
listeners who
listeners
would
as well.
be more open to this story now. But yeah, terrifying story. I'm really sorry for your loss, S, and we all love you. The next story reads, Hi Aishwarya and Aryaan, I am S. And first of all, I love the Desi Crime podcast and your voices.
Woo woo.
It's like they're made for it. I recently discovered the podcast and I'm proud to say that I've listened to almost all of the episodes. I tried alternating between your podcasts and other true crime podcasts, but I kept coming back to you guys. There's something about the way you guys make an episode, write the script and present it to us, getting so invested in the story and so close to the victims. I absolutely love it. We love you too, S. You're such a cutie. The incident that I'm about to narrate happened not too long ago, and so the details are still fresh in my mind. With that, let's begin this story. Imagine you're at your village with your parents and your extended family, and although you're not very close to them...
That's a horror story enough.
In and of
That's
itself.
a horror story right there.
Especially with
Good one. Great story. Next one, Aishwarya.
Especially with the next line, which is that you're not very close to them and don't get any privacy, which... Yep, there you go.
Boo. I'm scared.
Was it like that for you, S? Let us know in the comments. But yeah, so you're with your family at a village, extended family. You're not very close to them and not getting privacy sucks, but you're having fun. This is exactly what I was doing in the month of May. This year, a recent one. My exams had ended, our house was getting renovated, and I looked ahead to a great vacation. Except, I didn't know that by the end of it, I'd have a fear of voices in the dark. Everything was going good until one day I suggested to my cousins that we should have a movie night. A horror movie night, to be exact. You're my kind of person. I was thrilled at the idea, but my cousins were skeptical. They're not my kind of people. It took me some hard work and a lot of batting eyelashes, but I finally convinced them. Being the youngest cousin has its own benefits. We decided to watch The Nun, and halfway through it, the power went out. I know what you're thinking. That sucks, right? Well, that's exactly what my cousins thought, but I was not going to let my hard-earned movie night be ruined like that.
Ash,
Love that for you.
If midway the light goes off,
it's wraps.
I'd shit my pants.
That's true. That is pretty scary in and of itself. But you're just like, no, I'm going to power through this shit. We're finding the movie. So we decided, them grudgingly and me excitedly, to continue watching it on my eldest cousin, let's call her P's phone. All four of us huddled up in bed and continued. We finished this one, but no one wanted to sleep yet, which is when we decided to watch The Conjuring. Now that is one scary movie. I genuinely find The Conjuring
the best horror movie.
Very scary.
The best horror movie.
Not called the best horror movie, but very scary.
The best horror movie.
If you're on our Desi Crime broadcast channel on Instagram called OnlyFams, I weekly recommend my most favorite horror movies.
Yeah. She has some banger recommendations, guys. Things I haven't even heard of.
Yeah, they're super good. Go join. The story continues. They decided to watch The Conjuring. And not gonna lie, that movie is gripping. So gripping that none of us noticed that the power was back, but the TV and fans never turned back on. We knew the power was back because P's phone was connected to a charger. Around the end of the movie, I heard a knock on the door. Yes, it was my amazing idea to lock the door from inside. At first, I thought it was just my imagination because what would someone be doing outside our door at 3 a.m.? But then the knocking returned and it was louder this time. It followed a pattern. Knock, 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 knock.
God damn.
Now this isn't some crazy big detail and definitely not scary, but when you've just finished watching
Definitely
two
not
horror
scary.
movies,
S, what
it's
the
scary. It's scary even without the horror movies at 3 a.m. in the night. Definitely not scary, but when you've just finished watching two horror movies, everything scares the shit out of you. Everyone heard it this time, and I could tell the knocking creeped them out too, but we just decided that it was a grown-up who had figured out that we were watching horror movies and was just trying to scare us. So I, being the youngest, went to open the door. Your cousins suck. Like all cousins. They're just like bali ke bakre. Go open the door. Right when I was about to unlock the door, I was maybe a millimeter away from completely removing the latch. A voice called out from the other side of the door. It was my mum's voice. A sense of dread washed over me and I froze right where I was, with that latch still a millimeter away from being removed. You'd think my reaction was strange, but rethink that, because both my parents were out of town. They were back at our home, supervising the renovation. At that very moment, they were most likely sleeping peacefully with no idea about what was happening here. My other cousin, M's voice jolted me out of the state of shock. I quickly locked the door again and looked over to my cousins. It was like looking at a mirror. The fear on their faces was exactly like mine. I didn't dare to move to remove my hand from the latch. I was too scared to do that. Then the voice returned. It said, S beta, bahar aao. S child, come out. I looked over to my cousins again and they had a bit of relief in their expression. Maybe my parents really were back. Maybe it was just Mama at the door. But they didn't know what I knew. Mama never talked to me in Hindi when we were at the village. It was always in our native language. She also
Aishwarya,
never called
I
me
can't do
beta.
this. Your cat just came out from the curtain.
Oh my god, no way!
I can't. I lost my shit.
Damru,
Replay my
don't be
reaction.
doing that.
This cat is a health hazard. I lost my shit. I thought it was S beta.
That is so funny.
Okay, back to the story.
It's just Damru, you guys. Nothing to worry about.
Oh.
S looked over to their cousins and they all were kind of relieved, because what if it was S's mom at the door? Maybe her parents were back. But they didn't know what I knew. Mama never talked to me in Hindi when we were at the village. It was always in our native language. She also never called me beta. None of my parents did. Amidst all of this, somehow an Asian superstition came to my head. Whenever opening the door at night, always confirm the identity of the person thrice. I did not know about this. Did you know that you're supposed to confirm identities thrice?
Oh,
Before
Bloody
opening
Mary,
the
I
door?
killed your son. Bloody Mary, I killed
I
your
don't think
son.
that has anything to do with this. I know
Third
that's
time's
not-
the charm. You
That's
know.
not okay.
But maybe third time's the charm, and this, I think.
Oh, there's something with the word.
The
with
recurring
number
of the number 3 and repetition thrice might have something to do with.
Interesting. Okay, curious. Anyway, the story continues. With my cousins asking me to open the door and the voice doing the same, I asked the voice, "Are you my mother?" And as expected, it said yes. I asked for a second time and the answer was yes again. My cousins looked at me confused as I held one palm up to them, asking them to stay right where they were. I had tears in my eyes as I asked a third time, "Are you my mother?" and half expected to hear yes. But deep down I knew I wasn't getting that answer. We waited and waited for it to say something, except the voice was gone. And so was the knocking.
No way, Aishwarya.
Now, crying full tears and soaked in sweat, I returned to the bed and asked everyone to just go to sleep. We woke up the next day and no one ever talked about it again. Next month, back at our home, I asked my mother if she'd ever felt anything strange in the village. I fully expected her to realize I was hiding something and ask me right away. And trust me, I would have broken down and blurted out everything. But to my surprise, she didn't. Instead, she told me about something that happened when she was pregnant with me and my parents were at the village for a brief time. My mama and a few other ladies in the extended family used to have a tradition of going to the nearby temple to pray in the early hours after sunrise. So when one of my aunts, let's call her N, showed up at my parents' door early in the morning, she didn't think much of it. It was Papa who woke up first. He wakes up at even the littlest disturbances. Being in the army does that to you. I was gonna say that sounds like my dad. He woke Mama up and told her that N was at the door. Mom, thinking that maybe it was already sunrise and she had slept in, went to the door to open it when he stopped her. He told her with a terrified look on his face that it wasn't sunrise. It was far from it. It was 3:17 a.m. Hope you were spooked because I just got goosebumps all over again by revisiting this memory. Love you all and thanks for reading this.
Oh, my good
Scary
God.
stories.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
That's
3 a.m., 3 knocks, the village.
Conjuring. I mean,
The
you
Conjuring.
you put Conjuring in any horror story, and it
And that's
just
it.
elevates
That's
it.
terrifying. Yep.
Yeah. Who knew? That it could be that something can be more scary than just spending time with
swear.
your family in a
and
village.
watching horror movies.
Yeah.
Things do get scarier than that.
All right, so the next story we have for you guys is Hi Aishwarya and Aryaan. My name is Nishtha and I'm from Shimla, Himachal Pradesh. Firstly, your storytelling skill is amazing. I can tell how much research and passion goes into each episode, and it makes the content so rich and enjoyable. Keep up the amazing work.
Thanks, Nishtha.
Thank you, Nishtha. The story I'm about to tell you guys is my experience of sleep paralysis while I was living in Chandigarh in a PG. Initially, I used to live in this PG alone, but after a few months, I moved in with one of my friends that I had made over there. On that day, my roommate had gone back to her place, so I was all alone. The weather was a little hot, so me and my roommate used to leave one of the main doors open at night for ventilation. While she was not there as usual, I did the same thing and slept away. My boyfriend was on call with me and had kept my phone on the table, which is a very typical thing to do in a relationship, right? Especially when it's at the beginning where you know, on video call, you have your
sleep
partner
together,
off,
yeah.
you sleep together.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing. In my PG, our bathroom was outside our room, and sometime around 12:30 in the morning, I woke up and went to the bathroom and did not lock the door. After a while, I felt someone open the door, and I saw a figure wearing black clothes simply enter my room.
What?
It almost resembled the Dementors from Harry Potter. That figure came right next to my bed and touched my forehead gently, and suddenly the left side of my body was completely paralyzed. I wasn't able to move. It happened for 10 seconds and I was normal again. Ash, firstly, have you had sleep paralysis?
Never had sleep paralysis. I think we've talked about this on Chai Chithi.
I've had a couple of sleep paralysis. It's
Okay.
exactly like this, where you're seeing, at least I've seen scary things
Sure.
and felt like, I felt my entire body was incapable of
And
movement.
how are you sure you're going through sleep paralysis not being haunted by something?
Because I take
just-
the rational scientific approach
How
to
boring
things.
am I, right?
I was too scared to open my eyes and simply fell back asleep. The next morning, I woke up around 7 a.m. and I assumed I'd had a bad dream. I called my boyfriend and told him everything that happened. He told me that while he was on video call, he heard the door open and kept on calling my name, and I wasn't responding.
I'm sorry, what?
My roommate came back after a few days and I told her everything. The next minute, she tells me that she experienced the same thing as well while she was alone. But in her dream, it was me standing outside the door, and suddenly I entered the room without opening the door.
That's so scary.
We both had an episode of sleep paralysis, perhaps. Maybe there was some negative energy in our room due to which this happened. Well, this was my experience. I hope you like it. Kudos to both of you.
Short and bloody terrifying.
Bloody freaking terrifying.
That's so scary. And the fact that her friend saw her
Yeah.
and not like a Harry Potter Dementor.
Doesn't
I'd
even- yeah.
rather see a Harry Potter Dementor than
Then
my
my friend who's not
standing
there
up.
in the same
yeah,
town.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
As speaking of long distance relationships
Mhm.
and drifting off to sleep while your partner is on video call
Yeah.
watching you, that's something you've gotten a little too adept at recently.
Yeah, a little too adept, absolutely, with all of this long distance.
Yeah, he's in the States half the time, you're in India half the time.
Mhm.
But one way you have tried to work through that long distance is by playing weird little games that you guys have.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of your recent additions to this weird games that you play
Yeah.
are some of the games that My Muse has sent us.
Absolutely.
The My Muse games, dude, they have such spicy, weird, funny questions in them that you're bound to find more things out about your partner or your
Yeah.
friend. Doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, though it is 100% spicy, as we have found out. So today we are playing one of those games. It's called Anti-dat, not your usual dating game, although this is for friends as well. Tired of the same old dates? Ditch the small talk and awkward silences with Anti-dat. So we're going to try and see if we can reveal things about each other. The
Yeah.
terms and conditions of this game are, if you refuse to answer any question, then, as we said in the beginning, the dare is that you'll have to summon Bloody Mary at midnight all alone.
And if you guys haven't seen the previous Chai Chithi episode, this was my reaction to finding this punishment out.
Aishwarya, if you refuse to answer a question, you have to do Bloody Mary, I killed your son thrice. You have to do it. Or answer the questions.
I'm telling Aryaan, can I do it in the washroom when he's in this room?
No, at 12 in the night, you'll have to do the Bloody Mary thing. If you choose not to answer a question from one of the My Muse games, Bloody Mary and I are friends, dude. So, or answer all the questions.
Fine, I'll answer all the questions.
Okay, we have you on tape saying that.
Sure.
And if you don't answer them, then
rip to Miss Aishwarya Singh. She was a great presence.
Ash,
Yes, let's do it.
pick a
Fun
card.
fact about me, I don't know how to shuffle cards. Let's pick one out. Alright, this one says curious. If you could have any job in the world, what would it be? The funny thing is, I feel like I kind of have it. I feel like something in storytelling. A part of me really wanted to be a motivational speaker when I was like a lot younger. And I feel like while this is not quite that, it's still me speaking to an audience, even though I can't see you guys. So I really think I do have it. I'm very happy.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Although I did want to become an astronaut.
It's quite a drop from that, I guess.
Breathe underwater
Okay.
or walk on clouds.
Oh, it's a this or that.
It's a this or that. I'm confused.
There is a correct answer to this.
Breathe
I feel.
underwater.
Yeah, that is the correct answer.
That's
I
the
think.
correct answer.
Yeah.
There's
Would
an
love to hear from
objective,
you guys.
Standard, correct
There
answer.
is most
Yeah, if you
certainly.
had the option of breathing underwater or walking on clouds, which one would you take?
Let's see. Next. All right, this or that. This is from Friends. Marry Janice or laugh like Janice forever.
that is so difficult.
That is really difficult. Okay, I feel like laugh like Janice. Yes, but I feel like if someone would love me, they would look past that. I don't think I could marry Janice and be happy.
It'd be very difficult.
What would you? You're a Friends fan. What would you pick?
Oh, I would laugh like Janice.
Right?
I couldn't
You
tolerate
couldn't
being around
possibly
Janice.
be Janice or be with Janice. Yeah.
Kiss a stranger or kiss my ex? Kiss a stranger.
Kiss a stranger.
That's-
I think. Don't go back to
When
your
you
ex,
go
guys.
out to clubs, you're literally going for the sole purpose of kissing strangers more often than not.
Yep.
So I don't know how that even makes sense as a question.
Always a stranger.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
You're supposed to warn people. Guys, Ash got a question that she just refused to answer.
True.
And it's okay
True,
if you don't
true.
answer. Don't
Yeah.
show it. You're refusing to
I'm
answer.
refusing to answer this one.
But you're on tape. It's a very spicy one.
I totally forgot about that. That there was a punishment to me not answering.
You can't just pick up a card. So you're not answering it.
Not answering it.
Hide
All
it
right.
because people will see what you're. Oh well.
I guess we're summoning Bloody Mary
Alone,
tonight.
Bloody Mary, midnight.
Guys, yaar. Okay.
Alright, so you've lost the game.
I have lost the game.
And with that, I'm excited to see what 12 a.m. brings.
Okay, I am standing outside my washroom and I really from the bottom of my heart do not want to do this. I would actually pay Aryaan money right now to not have to do this, but I know he won't take the money and he's gonna make me do this. So we're going in now. Please, 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 Bhagwan ji, ये सब झूठ हो, कोई भूत नहीं है दुनिया में. Okay. Bloody Mary, I killed your son. Bloody Mary, I killed your son. Bloody Mary, I killed your son. Okay, that's it. I'm so done. I'm gonna hide in my blanket now and go to sleep.
So if you guys want to get your hands on fun games like this from My Muse or a bunch of other fun games that they have and a bunch of other fun things that they have on their website, wink wink, go to mymuse.in, use the code DESI10 at checkout to get 10% off. And with that, back to the next Chai Chithi story. Dear Desi Crime Podcast team, as I sit down to pen this email, technically type it, but okay. The flickering candlelight in my room seems to dance in tandem with the shadows of my memories,
Oh, wow.
transporting me back to a night that still sends shivers down my spine.
Some of you all are really meant to be writers.
Yeah.
And it shows.
My name is XYZ. That is not a very writer's name, but I'll go with that. your name is X, I would say, and I'm writing to you from Pakistan, where the whispers of the mountains still echo in my mind. I love that.
I love that. This is,
Love
I think,
that.
the first person,
Pakistani Chai
listener from
Chithi.
Pakistan who's, written in a story. I love that.
I'm an ardent fan of your podcast, and your masterful storytelling has had me hooked from the very beginning. Your ability to weave intricate tales that blend the macabre with the mysterious has inspired me to share a personal experience that I believe will resonate with your audience. It's a story that has been etched in my memory like a scar, a reminder of the terror that lurks in the darkness. It was a winter's night, and my cousins and I had embarked on a trip to the mountains, seeking adventure and solace in the seclusion of the wilderness. Our lodge was nestled deep in the heart of the forest, surrounded by trees that seemed to whisper secrets to the wind. As the clock struck 3 a.m., we decided to take a midnight stroll, our flashlights casting an eerie glow on the snow-covered path. The darkness was palpable, and we reveled in the thrill of scaring each other with whispers and screams. But then, without warning, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night air, sending chills down our spines. It was a sound that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once, a cry of pain and terror that left us frozen in our tracks. We turned to face the darkness, our hearts racing, and that's when we saw it. A scarf, wrapped around a tree like a ghostly apparition. My cousin, ever the thrill-seeker, decided to wrap the scarf around himself, making girl-like sounds and screams. But his bravado was short-lived. Footsteps echoed through the forest, heavy and deliberate, and a low, menacing whisper seemed to caress our ears. Wapas do mera patta. Give me back my scarf.
Oh my gosh.
We dropped the scarf, and our feet seemed to move of their own accord, carrying us back to the safety of our lodge. We locked ourselves in our room, the lights blazing like a beacon of sanity, and sat in stunned silence, our faces as white as the snow outside. The rest of the night was a blur of card games. No sponsor integration here, guys, but these could be the card games that help you recover from a night like this.
Always carry
Go
them for
to
your trips.
mymuse.in and use code DESI10, a
Yeah.
very shameless plugin by me. But regardless, the rest of the night was a blur of card games and hushed conversations, but the incident left an indelible mark on our minds. We never spoke of that night again, and the memory of it still haunts me to this day. I hope you find this tale captivating enough to share with your audience. I would be honored to hear your thoughts and feedbacks on this experience. Thank you for the incredible work you do, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Best regards,
That
XYZ.
It's scary.
Pakistan.
XYZ.
Firstly, you write beautifully.
You
I
do.
hope that's
you
not a
kind
Chai
of like,
GPT.
you kind of write like Aryaan.
That definitely not Chai GPT. That was very well written, and scared the shit out of me. So
That's scary. Finding a scarf. If you find things out in a forest,
yes,
don't pick them up.
especially if there is an effeminate sense to them, like a sari or a scarf. I think just stay away from
They're
it.
very symbolic of spirits.
Yeah,
for
if you like
some
find a
reason.
hat, or like a cowboy hat, I think you have a serial
Or
killer
like
on
a
the
tie,
loose.
you most likely have a finance pro on the loose.
Yeah,
so
but
just
anything
like anything
effeminate,
but.
veer away.
Yep.
Okay, with that,
But that's
I think
survival tip in place.
survival tip in place that Bear Grylls would be proud of. I think both Bear Grylls and I impart one lesson to our listeners on a weekly basis, which is stay safe, stay crazy, and stay desi.
If you like what we do here at Desi Studios and absolutely love what we're wearing today, this is merch you can go buy all for yourself.
You can buy this Desi Crime merch in our YouTube store on the link down below at Karak Merch. Keep the engines at Desi Studios rolling so we can pay our videographer right behind the camera to make these amazing episodes just for you.